Boker Tov, we are in the 4th Perek and the 8th Mishnah, Perek Dalet, Mishnayot in Masechet Pesachim. So the Mishnah tells us that there were people that lived in the city of Yericho, Jewish people, and they did things that the Hachamim were not so happy about. And the Mishnah is going to list 6 things. 3 of those things the rabbis just turned a blind eye on and just said, okay, you know what, leave them even though they're doing something that's wrong. 3 of the things Hachamim were upset about and they told them off about. Shishat Devarim Asu Anshe Yericho. There were 6 things that the people of Yericho did. Al Shalosha Michu Beyadam. 3 of them, the Hachamim, they told them off about. Val Shalosha Lo Michu Beyadam. 3 things they did not tell them off about. Ve'eluhen Shelo Michu Beyadam. Here's the 3 things Hachamim did not tell them off about. The first one, and this is the connection to Pesach, this Mishnah. Markivin dekalim kol hayom. So it seems like in the laws of producing dates, so there are male date trees, palm trees, and female palm trees. And it seems like male palm trees produce fruits, but the dates are very not good. The female palm trees naturally do not produce fruits, but you have to impregnate it. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but it's some form of grafting. They have to take a leaf from the male one and put it somewhere on a female palm tree, and then the female produces the proper dates. So this concept of this grafting of dates, it's a seasonal thing, and the people of Yericho did it Erev Pesach. Hachamim were like, come on, Erev Pesach, you guys have, you have so much other time to do it. Do it a little after Pesach, before Pesach. They said, no, we're going to lose otherwise. We have to do it today. Hachamim said, okay, they just left them alone. They didn't bother them. Even though they did it on Erev Pesach, it wasn't such a thing, they still let it go. The next thing they did, the korchim et Shema. They wrapped the Shema. So we do Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Baruch Shem Kevo Mochto L'Olam Va'ed, Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. That's how we do it, right? They did not say Baruch Shem Kevo Mochto L'Olam Va'ed. For whatever reason, they did Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. They did not do Baruch Shem. And Hachamim were upset about that. It was instituted to say Baruch Shem Kevo Mochto L'Olam Va'ed, even though it's not in the Torah, right? It just goes Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. So but nevertheless it was instituted. But because technically they still fulfill the mitzvah of Shema, even though they don't say Baruch Shem, Hachamim kind of let it go. Last thing, the kotzrin the godshin lifnei haomer velo michu beyadam. So on the 16th of Nisan is the Omer, is basically when we have the new day from Chadash to Yashan. So this is a big topic, but when the 16th is the day where all old grain is called now Yashan. Any grain that was cut is now called Yashan. Now Chadash is not supposed to be eaten in Eretz Yisrael, but the issue was if they were to, before the 16th, if they were to make already heaps of grain and basically get it ready for produce, for production, they were worried that people were going to start eating before the right time. So even though this was a concern, it wasn't a concern enough for the Hachamim to get upset about. But there were 3 things the Hachamim did get upset about. The first one, matirim gamziot shel hekdesh. So people, let's say, would donate to the Bet HaMikdash, let's say a tree or a field. Now the Bet HaMikdash, what are they going to do with fields and trees and different properties? They're going to eventually sell it and get the money and use it for the Bet HaMikdash, whatever. So let's say a person donates a tree. And he says, okay, I'm donating this tree. Now, from the time he donates it till the actual Bet HaMikdash comes, the person from the Bet HaMikdash comes and sells whatever, takes some time, and some fruit grew on the tree. So the owner says, well, the fruit's mine. I donated the tree as it was at that moment. The fruit, I'm going to take for myself. So, mideoraita, that's allowed to do. Because you donated the tree as is. Miderabbanan, no. We don't want people messing around with and accidentally taking from what they already donated to the Bet HaMikdash. Miderabbanan, you can't do it. These people of Yericho would do that. They would donate and they would take whatever grew from the Bet HaMikdash, trees, etc., for them, and the Chachamim were upset at them and told them off for it. Next, ve'ochlim mitachat hanesharim b'Shabbat. On Shabbat, we know you're not allowed to pick fruits. So we know that. Now let's say you find fruit on the floor on Shabbat. Now, if it was there before Shabbat, it already fell, you could technically have it. But if it falls on Shabbat, you can't have it. It's considered muktzeh. Right? How do you know? Let's say you find on Shabbat, and now you're not sure. So these people from Yericho, they're like, well, I don't know, maybe it fell before Shabbat. And they were eating them. Meaning if they knew it for sure fell on Shabbat, they wouldn't take. If they knew it for sure fell before Shabbat, they would take. But even the doubtful ones, they would still take. And that's not allowed. Safek of muktzeh is also not allowed. Hachamim say, hey, even a safek is not allowed, and they told them off for it. The last thing, here's an interesting one, that when they would leave, there was a concept of pe'ah. Pe'ah was leaving a corner of your field for the poor. So the people of Yericho would leave a corner of even the vegetable field, they would leave a corner. So what's wrong with that? That's such a good thing. The issue is that vegetables is you don't have to leave a corner for vegetables. And the things like this, when a person would, imagine a poor guy, he goes to the corner and he gets his stuff, wheat, barley. Now, there's terumah, ma'aseh, you have to give 10% to the Kohen, to the Levi, etc. The poor guy's like, I wouldn't have to start giving to everyone. So Hacham said, don't worry, poor people that get pe'ah, do not have to give to the Kohen, Levi after the go. Take it, eat, your poor guy, don't worry about it. Right? So they give them off. Vegetables did not require pe'ah, because vegetables are things that you don't store. Vegetables you eat right on the spot. You can't store tomatoes and store things. It's going to go bad. So there was no pe'ah for vegetables. What happened was in Yericho, they would say, pe'ah for vegetables, come. What happened was the poor people would come and take from the corner, but they were used to not giving terumah and maaser, just like they do for wheat. They weren't giving terumah and maaser. But the halakha was, you're not supposed to leave a corner for vegetables, because it's not something that you store. And therefore you're supposed to give terumah and maaser on those vegetables. And therefore, what happened was, these people of Yericho were extra nice. They would leave the corner of vegetables for the poor people, but they were also causing a stumbling block, because these poor people were now not giving to the Kohen and the Levi for their 10% on the vegetables, because they're used to not giving 10% on wheat and barley. But they were causing a stumbling block, because on vegetables they're supposed to give the terumah and maaser. So the Hachamim, they came and said, I know you guys are doing a nice thing here, leaving a corner, but you're causing a problem. These people are not doing the proper halakha and not giving their 10% on the vegetables. And therefore, to stop this practice. So that was the three things that the Hachamim were upset about from the people of Yericho. Amen. לזכות את ישראל לפיך חיבה להם תורה, שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.